Well, as we begin to ease some of those stay-at-home restrictions in response to COVID-19, the country's largest union of educators has released its nationwide guidelines for returning to schools and also warns of the potential loss of nearly 2 million education jobs due to the economic damage from the pandemic. We are joined by Lily Eskelsen García, also known as Miss Lily. She is president of the National Education Association. Hello, Lily.
How are you?
Good. So the first question we have for you this morning is, what are the main takeaways from the NEA's guidelines on returning to the classroom?
Well, we looked at the advice from some of the top infectious disease specialists. I'm a sixth grade teacher. I'm not a medical expert, but I know how to find them. And what do you know? The guidance that they're giving a restaurant to reopen safely is pretty much what we need for a public school. You've got to distance the kids. You've got to disinfect in a very specific way. You've got to have the equipment, the mask, the gloves, and you've got to do health checks throughout the day to make sure if someone has signs of being sick, you get them away from the group as fast as possible. We've been working so hard. Teachers can be very, very creative people. If you say temporarily, how would we separate the 39 sixth graders I had one year? We can look at the space in the building. We can look at creative scheduling. But here's the bad news. As we were trying to figure out all of that, hard as that's going to be, they said, oh, and your funding revenue for that school has fallen off the cliff because of the pandemic and the stalled economy. So we may have to pink slip. We may have to lay off massive amounts of teachers, massive amounts of the school support staff. Now what do? We can't figure this out. But luckily, there is a cure to this, and it's funding. And what we're asking for is the same kind of emergency funding they gave to businesses a few months ago. We need that for our public schools. The House passed it. They called it the HEROES Act, and it's in the Senate now. It seems to be stalled. It's not moving. We know if it comes to a vote, they would be able to send us billions of dollars to your local school district to make sure they don't have to lay off teachers, and we have all hands on deck so we can open those schools safely in the fall. We hope people will call their senators and get that to the floor so that we can get funding for Missouri school students.
All right, perfect. Well, Miss Lily, we thank you so much for all of your time with us this morning. For more information, you can check out NEA.org.